I'm gonna be clear, because I had remarks and I'm going a whole other way. To have her go on Fox News and to then decide that she wanted to send a threat to me, it was wrong.
Millions watched as Jasmine Crockett calmly questioned Melania Trump on live TV, but no one expected what she'd reveal next, or how it would change both women forever. It began with the kind of silence that feels loaded, not empty. The studio lights were bright, the set polished, the mood rehearsed, but underneath the practiced smiles, everyone knew this broadcast could go sideways. It was Thursday night on CNN, 8 p.m. sharp, and the show America's Future Now was supposed to be a calm discussion about education reform.
I actually wanted to be an anesthesiologist. So I've always been really good at math and science, but I didn't want to talk to people.
You wanted to put people to sleep, and you kind of are doing the opposite thing now.
Sitting across from each other were First Lady Melania Trump, graceful in her pale blue suit, and Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, sharp, steady, and already known for asking the questions others avoided. At first it was polite. Melania spoke softly about arts and reading programs. Jasmine nodded, listening.
So you believe the lawsuit should go forward?
Yes, I believe that. And because to accuse somebody without evidence, it's very hurtful and it's very damaging and unfair.
But then, leaning slightly forward, Jasmine asked, your administration recently expanded funding for elite academic programs. How are recipients selected? There have been questions about fairness. Melania smiled, poised. We work with universities, she said. The goal is to support talented students from all backgrounds. My son Barron understands how hard work matters. That's what America stands for.
A very tall son named Barron. Has anyone ever heard of him?
It was a clean, safe answer, but Jasmine didn't move on. She let the silence hang before saying, some documents suggest certain names receive priority consideration, students tied to campaign donors, and Barron's name was on one of those internal lists. The air shifted. Melania's hand moved slightly on the table. That's a private matter, she said, voice tightening. My son is not involved in politics.
Sorry, Barron. Are we winning or tied or what?
If you ask me, it's winning.
Barron won. He was home.
It's very nice to finally meet you.
You too, buddy.
Oh, you've never met?
No, it's our first time.
Could we make him into a fighter yet?
Jasmine's tone stayed calm. Neither am I, ma'am. But taxpayers fund that scholarship pool. If favoritism played a role, people deserve to know why. The tension was electric. The host tried to step in, but both women stayed locked in. Melania leaned forward, trembling slightly. You are attacking my family. Jasmine met her gaze. I'm asking questions, the same kind Americans ask when their kids can't afford tuition. By morning, that clip was everywhere. Jasmine Crockett checks Melania on live TV trended across social media. Inside the White House, chaos erupted. The First Lady's team scrambled to control the fallout. She went off script, sighed Communications Director Sarah Lindstrom. This was supposed to highlight literacy. Now it's an ethics storm. Meanwhile, Jasmine's office buzzed with calls and messages. Half the country says you're brave, her aide Maya said. The other half says you ambushed her. Jasmine only replied, the right time is when everyone's watching.
Is that we both know that there has been a sharp incline as it relates to threats upon our lives. Regardless of what side of the aisle you sit on, we both know and agree that as sitting members of Congress enduring more death threats than anybody should in this country.
Within a day, she went on MSNBC, holding up a printed email, a list of recommended scholarship candidates, including Barron Trump and 3 children of campaign donors. If public money funds this, she said, every student deserves an equal chance. It was calm, measured, and explosive. Scholarship Gate trended before the segment even ended. Inside the White House, Melania's team panicked. She's lying, Melania said, though even she wasn't sure how much she personally knew about the details. That night, Jasmine appeared on Nightline with more documents.
This is not what we should be doing. I don't even know why we fighting with Greenland. Why we fighting with Greenland? We fighting with Canada. We fighting with Mexico. Yet we in love with Putin. What is happening? Like, this is not America.
Letters confirming that White House intermediaries had contacted universities directly. Privilege isn't just money, she said. It's access. And that's what most Americans never get. The studio applauded. The next morning, protests formed outside the White House. Hashtags like fairness for all students filled timelines. Supporters saw Jasmine as a truth teller. Critics called her cruel. Melania stayed silent, but that silence became its own storm. Late-night hosts mocked her. Pundits questioned her composure. Inside the East Wing, she whispered to herself, "They don't see me. They see what they want." By Monday, Melania made a choice. She'd speak. At 8 p.m., her televised statement aired. "Every child deserves an equal chance. I won't be distracted by political games. My family stands for honesty." She looked calm, but reactions were split. Some praised her dignity, others called it evasive. Then investigative reports dropped, confirming that White House staff had indeed contacted universities about scholarship selections. The Ethics Committee launched a review. On 60 Minutes, Jasmine was asked if Melania knowingly benefited. "I believe she's part of a system, whether she meant to be or not," Jasmine said quietly. Real leadership means facing that truth. The tone was compassionate, not combative. And across town, Melania watched. For the first time, she didn't feel attacked. She felt exposed. The next day, she stepped to the White House podium. "I understand why people are angry," she said. "I wasn't aware of every detail, and for that, I take responsibility. The strength of America is not in its perfection, but in its ability to correct itself." It was the moment no one expected, an admission and a hint of humility. The hearing that followed found procedural failures, but no direct wrongdoing. Still, it led to new transparency rules for federal scholarship programs. But for ordinary viewers, it felt like something deeper, a reminder that accountability isn't cruelty and growth isn't weakness. Two women had stood on opposite sides of power, one demanding truth, the other defending dignity, and both emerged changed. If this story teaches anything, it's that silence never builds trust and pride never protects truth. Speaking up, even when it's uncomfortable, is what keeps democracy alive. Because caring enough to question is how real change begins.